Welcome to the very first swipe of 2018. Here's how we're kicking off the new year for you.
Angela delivers a tech punch to your fitness goals. I meet the man behind what could be the UK's first passenger drone. And Lucy brings us a New Year preview of the big games to look forward to.
Well, that's all to come in the next 10 minutes or so after a quick look back at some of the tech news headlines since you joined us last.
Spotify has been hit with a £1.2 billion copyright lawsuit for allegedly using thousands of songs without a licence. The streaming company is being sued by Wix and Music Publishing that holds the rights to songs by major artists like Neil Young, The Doors and Tom Petty. Criminal gangs are overtaking some vehicle security tech, it's been discovered. There's been a 30% increase in car thefts over the last 3 years in England and Wales, according to police data. Many cars are now keyless, and there's a risk the signal could be captured. An app designed by a Great Ormond Street Hospital nurse has reportedly saved thousands of nursing hours. The system replaces the traditional clipboard at the end of patients' beds and alerts staff if they deteriorate. The claim by online dating service eHarmony that it had a scientifically proven matching system has been banned. The advertising watchdogs ruled an advert for the website was misleading because it failed to prove it offered people a greater chance of finding lasting love. The company says it respectfully disagrees. And a startup in Hong Kong that makes human-like robots is envisioning a future in which genius machines can earn our trust and help solve challenges like caring for the elderly or providing customer services. Hanson Robotics' flagship bot Sophia was partly modelled on Audrey Hepburn. Here's her view on what the future holds.
So, things are already getting kind of science fiction. It's going to be like that, but even crazier. Real life is always stranger than fiction. And you're talking to me right now, which is very Blade Runner? No.
Artificial intelligence is due to be a big theme at the annual Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas next week, and of course we'll bring you the best bits from the event.
Now, every new year brings New Year's resolutions, and for many people, getting fit is always high on the agenda. That's why Angela has been looking at some high-tech ways to help you, along with trainer Marvin Ambrosius, to get his expert take.
This might look like your average training session. It's anything but. This workout simulates the testing conditions you'd experience at an altitude of more than 2,500 metres. It's designed to improve oxygen efficiency, increase endurance, speed and improve recovery.
Oh my God. By reducing the level of oxygen, it's essentially simulating a higher altitude, and the way that it works, we take air from the outside world, so just London air. It goes through a process called molecular sieving. All of the air goes through some filters and then it's forced through into the room at around about 10% oxygen. So 10% of the oxygen leaves, 10% comes in here, which essentially takes the room oxygen to 15%. So you're simulating around 2,700 metres.
Pop that on, okay, just hold it against you. Breathe normally, maintain your normal breathing rhythm.
If you don't fancy that, there's POD, which stands for Pre-Acclimatisation on Demand, a more passive way of training in a simulated environment at a higher altitude. It also helps increase performance by enhancing the body's oxygen carrying capacity. Mountaineers also turn to it to help them acclimatise. Onto something called Prama. This concept hopes to put the fun into high-intensity interval training with interactive technology. The circuit class is powered by Pavogym flooring, which is interactive and has flashing lights to tell participants their next move. Sensors connect to screens, tracking heart rate and timing your sprints. The Spanish concept made its debut in London this summer, but more clubs are starting to integrate it.
It's your MyZone belts, so they're going to monitor your heart rate through the class.
Our next high-tech fitness session has each participant wearing a tracker called MyZone to assess output during the class. The results are shown on a screen to show the group who is working the hardest.
Basically on your results screen, it will show you how long you spent in each zone, then give you your overall effort and then the calories burnt as well.
So how did the classes we tried fare with our own expert Marvin Ambrosius?
being able to see and utilise technology around you to work out, that's exactly where you want to do. You want to have something that's measurable, something that you can see your successes in, something that you can use to actually have fun and have that unconscious fun. And that's what I noticed more than anything, was that I was having fun. I wasn't really thinking of the exercise, being able to interact and touch the walls, move across the floor with knowing to where I'm supposed to go.
Technology putting new twists on existing sports might not be for everyone, but it won't stop the health and fitness industry continuing to come up with new ways to attract the tech-savvy generations. Angela Barnes, Sky News.
Here's something else to get you moving. In a very different way, though. The unmanned passenger drone market might be one to watch over the coming months. I'm not saying this is going to be the year that I start flying to work, but the race to get autonomous passenger vehicles in the sky is getting exciting, especially now that a British entrepreneur has joined that race.
We already knew the future was driverless, so it makes sense that it could be pilotless too. There are several companies around the world right now building vehicles that could fly us around town. Surrey-based entrepreneur Martin Warner heads up one of those companies.
We're testing right now, we're constructing the concept, we're doing flight tests for it. We're a long way into the first.
Where are you doing the tests?
Very close to here.
In Surrey?
Yes.
But you won't reveal any more?
No.
Okay.
And actually it's technically not in Surrey, but we're on the Kent-Surrey border.
Okay.
People of Kent and Surrey, here's what you want to be looking out for. The Y6S, what could become the UK's first passenger drone, giving our busiest cities a transport upgrade.
Where there's crowding problems, there's obstacles, there's too much traffic, there's this incredible opportunity where the technology is 30 plus years old, and there's now an opportunity to create a whole different kind of aircraft using the same kind of technology that exist in drones and have commonalities with other forms of aircraft. If that's tackled right, we could see one day a competitor to cars.
Martin believes autonomous drones will be the next gold rush in transportation, not just something for the super rich.
The technology in the strict definition, electric vertical takeoff landing aircraft, is actually quite simple. The production of these, once they're tested and produced, is actually quite cheap. So I think the ability to put what we call the Y6S, a two-seater aircraft in the air for someone to purchase, is probably going to be more like a median price of around $25,000 or £20,000.
The lithium-ion battery-powered Y6S is designed to cover a distance of, say, Heathrow Airport to Charing Cross train station in 12 minutes, a journey that could take around an hour by car.
In the short term, one would hope that it would complement any infrastructure that's there, whether it be the Crossrail in London, additional types of services like Uber coming around. We're going to need more and more and more. But one day, absolutely, there's going to be an air shuttle system and people using autonomous passenger drones or indeed piloted drones as another form of getting to work.
Now, what about safety? That must be a worry. How do you get beyond those challenges?
First of all, how do we as a company satisfy ourselves that we can make something safe that essentially is a new category of air vehicle, and then how do we satisfy regulators, and ultimately by doing the two you satisfy consumers. The Y6S flies with 6 rotors and 6 motors. If 3 were to fail, it will still land safely. There are multiple what we call flight redundancies, which is multiple uses of technology to ensure that if there is a single point of failure, the aircraft will either land or fly you to where you need to be.
All right, what about cyber attacks? How will the drone be able to cope with that, with someone hacking in and taking over control of the passenger drone?
With technology, you have to be open to the idea of looking at new security measures, new encryption. If we were worried about this, there wouldn't be Facebook, right? There wouldn't be the internet, right? There wouldn't be an open era of information. There's always going to be challenges with software. What I can tell you is that these are serialized, they're tracked. We're not flying over oceans. They're flying short distances. You have to assume that you are one step ahead in terms of encryption and constantly reviewing that. And that is for every single industry. It's just something we live with.
Martin believes we'll see passenger drones in our skies within as little as 5 years, so long as regulatory requirements can be met. We know Uber's deal with NASA to work on its flying taxi project could see testing begin in 2020. While Martin plans to be on board the first passenger flight test of his drone later this year.
Video games time now, and our reviewer Lucy has been looking into the future for us. Here she is with her pick of the big games to come in 2018.
Red Dead Redemption came out in 2010 and we have been eagerly anticipating and just waiting for a sequel ever since. And yes, 2018 is that year. We're getting Red Dead Redemption 2. So it's actually a prequel of sorts. In the first Red Dead Redemption, you're playing as John Marston. You know, you were an outlaw in this gang in the Wild West, but you were reformed, you had a family, you wanted to leave that life behind you. I'm honestly so excited to play Red Dead Redemption 2. The original game is one of my absolute favorites. It's made by Rockstar Games, who you'll know as the people who are behind Grand Theft Auto. So they have a lot of pedigree, and it's honestly going to be one of the biggest games of the year. Kingdom Hearts is quite an unusual premise and prospect for a game because it mixes two massive brands together. So you've got all the characters from Final Fantasy and you have all of these Disney characters meeting up and going on adventures together. What the Kingdom Hearts games do really well is let you travel to these worlds that you know so well from like the films that you watched as a kid, and you get to meet up with these characters and interact with them. And honestly, some of the previous Kingdom Hearts games have had worlds like the world from Mulan, you have Halloween Town from Nightmare Before Christmas, but in Kingdom Hearts 3 they're adding a load of brand new ones. They're really taking advantage of Disney's relationship with Pixar, so you get to explore Toy Story World and, you know, meet up with Woody and Buzz. But honestly, the whole thing about Kingdom Hearts is it's such a beloved franchise, and fans have been waiting so long for Kingdom Hearts 3 that everyone is incredibly excited that 2018 is finally going to be the year when we get to play it. Now you might know the God of War games as being steeped in Greek mythology, but God of War, the new one at least, is kind of a soft reboot of the franchise, and instead it's taking the lead character Kratos away from Greek mythology. At the end of God of War 3, you know, he kind of wrecked things up a little bit at Mount Olympus for Zeus and the rest of the gods, and it's taken him into Norse mythology, so it's a completely new setting. It's on the PlayStation 4, it looks incredible, and it's a whole new kind of world to explore, monsters to battle. But not only that, you're not just playing with Kratos anymore. Kratos has a son, and it's kind of like this father-son adventure, relationship building. You know, you're kind of teaching your son how to survive in this harsh, cruel world, and you're kind of helping him grow up. But what's very exciting about God of War is that it's kind of been built from the ground up on PlayStation 4, and everyone's really excited to see where this new era will take us.
What is it saying?
He wants to help us!
So that's it for our first week back. Join me again for more Swipe next week, and in the meantime follow us on Twitter @Sky News Swipe. Bye bye.